Hello friends, this is Basuraj Benamble coming out with my next video on proteins second part, in which I will be discussing functions of proteins, denaturation, nitrogen balance and essential amino acids. Coming to the first topic, that is nitrogen balance. As the name indicates, nitrogen balance, the balance between excretion and intake of nitrogen. Protein is represented by nitrogen. So the amount of protein taken is equal to the amount of nitrogen taken, and excretion of protein is the excretion of nitrogen. So that's how the balance between intake and excretion of nitrogen is called as nitrogen balance. If the amount of nitrogen taken is equal to the amount of excretion of nitrogen, that is called as nitrogen balance. The same amount, amount of nitrogen which is taken is excreted, then it is called as nitrogen balance. And nitrogen retained in the body will indicate growth, or the protein retained in the body indicates growth, and excretion of nitrogen represents loss of weight. So that's how the nitrogen represents to indication. Nitrogen retained in the body indicates growth, and excretion of nitrogen represents loss of weight. When in case of there is a loss of body weight, in that case you can see that there is a lot of nitrogen is being excreted, due to which you can see there is loss in weight of the body weight. So that's how we indicate. If the nitrogen is retained, it will be growth. That's how we indicate. Nitrogen retained indicates growth, and loss represents loss of weight represents nitrogen excreted. And if the intake is more than the output, or the excretion, intake is more than excretion of nitrogen, then it is called as positive nitrogen balance. And this happens in case of overnutrition. When you are taking more food or more diet you are taking, so in that case over nutrition, instead of taking the required amount, you are taking more amount of nutrition food you are taking, in that case it may lead to positive nitrogen balance, because excess of nitrogen is being stored in the body, in that case in over nutrition. In case of intake is less than excretion and then output or excretion, it is called as negative nitrogen balance. Means the amount of excretion is more when compared to intake. The amount of nitrogen taken is less, but the excretion is more. That happens in case of malnourishment. You are not taking any food or protein through your diet. In that case, what happens? That will lead to negative nitrogen. Overnutrition is taking more protein diet. That may lead to positive nitrogen balance. Malnourishment means you're not taking protein through your diet. In that case, that will lead to negative nitrogen balance, or malnourished condition. Malnourished means you are not taking proper diet or proper food you are not taking. In that case, that may lead to negative nitrogen balance. So nitrogen balance is not maintained, or that equilibrium between excretion and intake is not maintained if the diet is deficient of any one or more essential amino acids. Essential amino acids are more important. So if all the essential amino acids are present in that particular protein, then it will lead to balance between the nitrogen intake and excretion of nitrogen. If there is any deficiency of these essential amino acids, then there will be impairment in nitrogen balance. Nitrogen balance cannot be maintained if the diet which you are taking is deficient of any one or more essential amino acids. That's how it is related. So the diet which you are taking should contain all the essential amino acids. If it is not containing, then there will be impairment in the nitrogen balance cannot be maintained. And the storage of protein is always accompanied by tissue growth. As I told you, the storage of protein, storage or tissue growth, nitrogen retained indicates growth. And the various factors you can see there, factors affecting the nitrogen balance. It may be lead to, some factors may lead to positive nitrogen balance, some factors may lead to negative nitrogen balance. So there are variety of factors which are affecting the nitrogen balance. That is hormones are there, growth factors are there, protein deficiency in case of pregnancy, illness. These all factors will lead to impairment in the nitrogen balance. So, and the nitrogen is measured, the analysis can be done. The nitrogen is measured in case of urine analysis you can do, fecal analysis you can do, and sweat analysis you can do, in which you can measure the amount of nitrogen which is being excreted daily. So the normal excretion will be different, and if the excess excretion is there or less excretion is there, so that on that basis you can identify whether you are in positive nitrogen balance or negative nitrogen balance. The amount of nitrogen taken and amount excreted is being measured, so that you can check the nitrogen balance. So that is all about in brief about nitrogen balance. Coming to the functions of proteins, there are these proteins have different variety of functions, important functions. The main function is it helps in maintaining the body tissue, including development and repair. The wound healing, good example of this maintenance or repair is wound healing activity. Whenever there is a wound cut on the skin, so that is being automatically repaired. That is due to protein. That is the main function of proteins. So maintenance of body tissues, you can see there the nails you cut and then again it will grow. So all those things are related to functions of proteins. That depends upon the protein in the body. So maintenance of body tissue, normal natural repair mechanism is there in the body. That is because of these proteins. So maintenance the body tissue, which include development and repair, and provide structural framework for cells and tissues. Whatever the physic a person is having, so that is due to the proteins. So you may see some malnourished, particularly these African countries, children, so you can see Somalia and third world countries. In that case, you can see the chest is small, head is large. So due to skeletal deformities and malnourishment, they have not taken any good proper diet. So that structural framework will be disturbed. So you need to these proteins will provide the required structural framework for cells and tissues. If you are not having proper protein diet, then that structural framework will be impaired or irregular, or deformities will be there in the structural framework. Sometimes you may see that head is large, chest is small. So that's how these skeletal deformities can be seen in case of malnourished patients. So people or persons or children we can call. And all proteins, they act as enzymes, and all enzymes and hormones are proteins. But not all proteins are enzymes and hormones. All proteins are enzymes and hormones. But not all proteins are enzymes and hormones. And all enzymes and hormones are proteins. But not all proteins can be called as enzymes or hormones. They act as enzymes and hormones. And another rule, transport specific substances across the biological membrane, means in case of biological membrane, lipid bilayer, biological plasma membrane is a bilayer which contains proteins, lipids, and carbohydrates. So these proteins present in the lipid bilayer act as transport systems or transport carriers, which will carry the solid molecules across the biological membrane. So they transport specific substances across the biological membrane. So some proteins are involved in acting as transport systems or carrier systems for substances which are being crossed across the biological membrane. And some proteins acts as receptors onto which certain substances will bind. Receptor sites will be there onto which certain substances will bind to that receptor proteins, and they help in the mediating the cellular action. So that's how receptor proteins will bind to specific substances and mediate their cellular action. And also proteins are catabolized to release energy. Certain amount of energy is also released in the form of ATP. Even any catabolism of any lipid, carbohydrate or protein, main energy is from carbohydrate, then from lipid, then from even some amount of energy is being generated by catabolism of proteins. So proteins on catabolism will release energy. And this proteins also have another role, that is maintains electrolyte and water balance by exerting osmotic pressure. What happens when osmotic pressure is exerted? When osmotic pressure is exerted, it will ensure the optimum concentration of electrolytes and non-electrolytes in the body. This due to exertion of osmotic pressure, that will help to maintain the required concentration or maintain the required concentration of electrolytes and non-electrolytes in the body, in the extracellular compartment and intracellular compartment. So, and solutes or water move across the biological membrane or plasma membrane to equalize the concentration in between the extracellular fluid and intracellular fluid. So that's how it will maintain the electrolyte and water balance. And necessary for synthesis of antibodies. So proteins, immunoglobulins are nothing but proteins. So they are necessary for synthesis. When body is invaded by any pathogen, that will lead to stimulation of specific antibodies. Antibodies will be produced. So antibodies, so that will act as a defense mechanism against infections. So we will not get easily infected by invasion of any microbe. If your immune power is stronger, then this body will stimulate the production of antibodies, and that will kill that particular or neutralize that particular pathogen or microbe, so that you will not get rid of that particular disease. That depends upon the immune system. So immune system is directly related to the protein which you are taking through your diet daily. So necessary for synthesis of antibodies. So if you are taking healthy diet which contains the required amount of protein, then that will also lead to synthesis of antibodies that will protect you from the against various infections, and helps with the bactericidal action of leukocytes and cell-mediated immunity. This leukocytes or cell-mediated immunity. Cell-mediated immunity is the immune response that does not involve antibodies, but activates the phages, that is macrophages. These are phagocytic cells. Activates the macrophages so that they will engulf the pathogen, or they will kill the, enhance the bacteria, enhance the phagocytic activity. So this cell-mediated immunity will activate the phages for phagocytosis. And natural killer cells also are involved in to destroy the intracellular pathogens. So this cell-mediated, in case of cell-mediated immunity, these natural killer cells are activated as well as phages are activated, so that they will kill the intracellular pathogens or microbes. So that's how they will enhance the bactericidal action. In case of leukocytes, these leukocytes are highly mobile cells. Mobile cells capable of phagocytosis or phagocytosis of bacteria. So those are the different roles or functions of very important functions of proteins. Coming to essential amino acids, as the name indicates, essential amino acids. Essential amino acids are the amino acids which are not synthesized in the body. Totally 20 different amino acids are there. In that, 10 are essential amino acids, 10 are non-essential amino acids. Essential amino acids are not synthesized in the body. Non-essential amino acids are synthesized in the body. So the other name for these essential amino acids is indispensable amino acids, which are not synthesized in the body, and they have to be supplied through your diet. When they are not synthesized in the body is in need of that particular essential amino acids. 10 essential amino acids are there. In that 8 are absolute essential amino acids and 2 are semi-essential amino acids. So adequate amount of these essential amino acids should be supplied, and that is supplied through your diet. Whatever diet you are taking, in that those essential amino acids should be present. So that will supply the required essential amino acids. And these essential amino acids are required for normal growth and maintenance of nitrogen equilibrium. Nitrogen equilibrium or nitrogen balance or normal growth of the body depends upon the amount of essential amino acids which you are taking through your diet. So they are essential. These essential amino acids are required for normal growth of the body as well as maintenance of nitrogen balance. And these essential amino acids, the nutritional value, you can see that the nutritional value of a protein depends upon the number of essential amino acids present in it. If the nutritional value of a protein is depending upon the essential amino acids present in it. In 10 essential amino, how many essential amino acids are present in that particular protein? That will give the nutritional value. If nutrition, or if all the essential amino acids are present, then the nutritional value of that particular protein is very high. If any one is deficient, that protein is not having one essential amino acid, then the nutritional value will be decreased. If more essential amino acids are not present in that protein, so that will decrease the nutritional value. That's how we relate between the nutritional value and essential amino acids. If all the 8 essential amino acids are present, then it is called as complete protein. Good example of that is casein. If any one or more than one essential amino acids are not there in the protein which you are taking through a diet, then it is called as incomplete protein. Example of is maize, which lacks tryptophan. Tryptophan is a essential amino acid. And totally 10 essential amino acids are there. 8 are absolute, that is valine, leucine, isoleucine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine, threonine, and tryptophan. These are absolute, they are required. They should be present in the protein which you are taking through your diet. They are required for the normal maintenance of nitrogen balance or growth. And another two are there, arginine and histidine. These are not synthesized in the body, so they are required. They should be supplied through your diet, these 8 essential amino acids. Okay. Arginine and histidine can be partly synthesized in the body, so they are called as semi-essential amino acids because they can be synthesized. Some concentration or some amount of these amino acids can be synthesized in the body, so they are semi-essential amino acids. You can remember in your own way these different essential. We will path MTH, that's how I have written here. V is valine, I is isoleucine, L is leucine, and L is another L is lysine, P is phenylalanine, A is arginine, T is tryptophan, H is histidine, M is methionine, and TH is threonine. That's how 10 essential amino acids can be remembered. In any form you can remember in your own way. You can remember these 10 essential amino acids, in which 8 are absolute and 2 are semi-essential. And coming to the denaturation of proteins, denaturation is nothing but disruption of secondary, tertiary, and quaternary. Disruption means in the secondary, tertiary, and quaternary structure, there is a bond forming. In secondary structure, there is hydrogen bonding. Hydrogen bonding is taking place. In tertiary structure of protein, there is ionic bonding, hydrophobic bond interactions are there. Different interactions, the disulfide bonding is there. Quaternary structure also, same type of bondings will occur. So there will be cleavage, breakage of these bonds, whether it may be hydrogen bonding, breakage between the hydrogen bonding, breakage in between the disulfide bonding, breakage between the ionic bonding. So all those bonds will break. That's the disruption of the secondary, tertiary, and quaternary structure. You are calling it as denaturation of proteins. And a primary structure is not. Primary structure is linear chain of amino acids, which I discussed in the earlier videos of my videos, organization of protein structure, I discussed primary structure is due to peptide bonding between the two amino acids. That is not destroyed. Only that coiling is destroyed. Coiling, when the protein structure chain of amino acids is being coiled, in that case hydrogen bonding will take place, ionic bonding, disulfide, different interactions will occur to give strength to the structure of protein. So in disruption, those bondings are being broken or cleaving between the bonding, but primary structure, that is peptide bonding, will not be affected. Due to this disruption, there is changes in physical and chemical properties of the protein. When there is any disruption of or denaturation of proteins, that will lead to change in physical property as well as chemical property of protein. And the agents which are causing denaturation may be physical or chemical. Physical agents, when you are exposed to ultraviolet light, too much exposure to radiations will denature proteins. So you can understand, when you are exposed to any type of radiation, it may be ultraviolet rays, X-rays. So nowadays you say when you are exposed to radiations, that will denature. So the proteins present in the skin or the body are getting denatured. So by that denaturation, what will happen? There is a change in physical or chemical properties. So the function of protein will be affected. That's all. So the physical agents, so you cannot expose yourself to ultraviolet rays to a longer time, or X-rays or any other radiations. So that radiations which will damage or denature the proteins will affect the function or physical property of that particular protein. Heat, if you are exposed to heat or extreme temperature, in that case also denaturation occurs. Violent shaking, high pressure will affect. These are the agents which will denature the protein. Physical agents. Chemical agents, different chemical agents are there. Alkalis, enzymes are there. Acids, organic solvents, heavy metal salts, urea, and detergents will denature or destroy the secondary, tertiary, and quaternary structure of proteins. Due to this denaturation, there are physical changes or chemical changes occur in the proteins. Physical changes, like there will be change in viscosity. If the viscosity may increase, changes are increased. If the protein gets denatured, it will increase the viscosity of protein, decreases its solubility, change in surface tension, as well as they cannot be crystallized. So these are some changes due to denaturation, physical changes. Chemical changes also may take place, which are digested, that is denatured proteins digested quickly by this proteolytic enzyme. These are the enzymes which will digest the proteins very fast, and also decrease the activity of enzymes and hormones. So there will be impairment in the activity of enzymes. Enzymes are involved in all biochemical reactions, all metabolic reactions, maybe catabolic reactions, anabolic. Without enzyme, there is no metabolic activity. So if there is a decrease in enzyme activity, there will be decrease in metabolic activity. So that will lead to variety of disorders. Hormone functions will be impairment in hormone functions, decrease in activity of hormones, that will lead to decreased activity of that particular hormone, which is also regulating. These hormones are also regulating the variety of metabolic processes. So there will be derangement or disturbance in the metabolic activity. Also alters antibody functions automatically. When this protein is getting denatured, it is its physical property, chemical property, biological property is changed. So it may lose the biological activity. So that may lead to reduction in immune response, or immunity may weaken in case of this denatured protein. And this denaturation is reversible or irreversible. Denaturation process is reversible as well as irreversible. And denatured protein is insoluble and precipitate it out from the solution. When you take denaturation is nothing but when you heat, you take egg and you heat it, it will become omelette, which is you are calling it as denatured. You cannot again take back that omelette into a liquid form. So insoluble and precipitate out from the solution. Denaturation is that process. So this is all about denaturation of proteins. Thank you for watching my channel. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Thank you for watching.